Right. Sanjay, do hold on. Would request Pallavi and Anvit to hold on as well. Our colleague Payal Mehta has been keeping an eye. There was a civil aviation, briefing, the committee, parliamentary committee that carried out a briefing, and this is what Payal learns. After AAIB briefed the committee on the ongoing probe into Air India Flight 171 crash, sources have told CNN News 18 that both black boxes were found intact and were transported on separate aircraft to ensure maximum security. The US National Transport Safety Board has also brought in specialized equipment to India. Payal, give us more details, please.
Arunima, many people had asked a question as to why the black box was in India and why it hadn't been sent overseas. This is the reason that we have the requisite technicalities that are required to, to in fact carry out such investigations. So highest level of security and highest level of, details are maintained to make sure that the black box was able to be of its maximum usage. Given the fact that it was a very, very technical equipment and a very, very important equipment, because that would actually have the audio really out in terms of what was the conversation going on between the two pilots. Obviously that's what the AAIB had told the parliament committee, that maximum care was taken to make sure that there was no compromise, there was no tampering with this particular evidence, which was most crucial. Black box is the most crucial device, and therefore all steps were taken to make sure that actually was not compromised in any manner whatsoever. That is what AIB has told the Parliamentary Committee for Road and Transport. Essentially 2 days, two meetings took place, Arunima, and one day, of course, the Air India CEO Mr. Campbell would appear before the panel and also maintain that the Dreamliner is a very safe, secure, and a sturdy airline, and there was no reason for anybody to really get panicky. So obviously, that report, of course, on the second day, which is being prepared with Sanjay Jha's committee, is going to be submitted in this upcoming monsoon session.
Very, very critical information there. Payal, do hold on. Anvit, just come in on this. Whatever you're seeing in the report, this is of course a preliminary report, but whatever you're seeing in the report, the data that has been extracted from the flight data recorder, how will that help the probe? What is it that tells you? Of course, we've told our viewers about the cockpit voice recorder, but is there anything else that the AIB has managed to retrieve from these two, black box units?
See, the FDR would give you a lot of details, a lot of parameters that the data that aircraft receives through satellite telemetry, that is also reflected in FDR. So when the flight was on ground, the data that it was receiving and the data it was transmitting to the ATC and to the ground controls, that would help the investigators to find out how the aircraft was behaving when it was on ground and when its controls were with the ground controllers. With the data that it was transmitting, that is being analyzed. The report goes on to say that FDR data is still being analyzed. However, preliminary findings have been given out to indicate as to what was the primary cause of the crash. Other than that, when the flight took off, the details that the report goes on to mention that the speed was 180 knots and it had reached this far, the altitude was 160. So these details also come in from FDR. Also, the ram air turbine deployment of it, that also comes in from FDR, because at what time was the RAD deployed, what was the reasons, and because the RAD turbine clearly indicates power failure because it generates additional power for the engines to revive. Now, when RAT had been deployed, it means that there was a possible engine failure or power failure, power outage. So in that case also FDR would help them understand at what time did the RAT deploy. Was it deployed before the aircraft started rolling on the runway, or it had just deployed soon after the takeoff, because it was only 30 seconds of flight that this aircraft could actually make. So that is crucial. So FDR has given a lot of data which still is under analysis, and also preliminary findings are also based on crucial data that has been retrieved from the FDR. Other than that, we know that cockpit voice recorder has also given us a very crucial information that pilot has denied switching off the engine fuel switch. So that also clearly, even though detailed report is awaited as to find out whether there was a human intervention or it could also be a sabotage angle as we have been talking, but clearly as of now, pilots their conversation clearly state that one pilot had denied, other being asked that if he had tampered with the fuel switch. So now the focus again goes on technical things and the data that has been retrieved to find out at what stage the RAT was deployed and at what stage was the fuel switch cut off.
All right, and with crucial information there coming in from you, Sanjay Suri, Aman Sharma, Anvit, I'll request all of you to just hold on for a bit. This is a big story. The preliminary report of the AAIB is now out, and one thing that they have ascertained is that the Ahmedabad air crash happened because the engines lost power, and this happened because the fuel switch was turned off. It moved from run to cut-off position. Why did it happen? Some experts on our broadcast suggest sabotage, but we'll have to wait for authorities to tell us exactly how they're interpreting this report. We're slipping into a very quick break, but stay with us. When we come back, we'll get you more insights into this big story this Saturday morning.